thought I was just going to give you guys career advice from someone who's not that much older than you and kind of understands or remembers how it was like, choosing your university, or finding out, trying to figure out your next 30 years of your life in 1 year. But then it was about leadership, so yeah, leadership. Here we go. How to be a leader. I'm really determined not to recite a boring list of what makes a good leader or how to be a leader, because there are many books out there, at least 24 on CEO.com, and you can buy them all on Amazon. So I think you can do that yourselves. Instead, I'm going to share with you some things I've noticed and realized from the people I've met. They're not presidents of countries, they're not CEOs of amazing companies like Google or LinkedIn, unfortunately. But they're some amazing people who have made differences in what they've done in their careers and their lives, whether it's a CEO or just a startup. They're just normal people like yourselves, like myself, but still making a difference to the people around them and to the people that they lead. And at the end of the day, I have to say, I'm just going to summarize what you may see throughout these stories that I'm going to share with you, is that it's all about your frame of mind and your attitude. So I'll just start with a story about this guy. His name is Malcolm McLean, and I'm kind of using this story told by Malcolm Gladwell. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him, but he's quite a good author. It's all about being disruptive. Now, disruptive is usually looked upon as a really negative word, especially by adults, parents, and teachers. Disruptive really means, disturbing other people in your class, making jokes when you're not supposed to, distracting people who are supposed to work, talking really loudly in the library, really bad things, being disruptive, destroying everything and wrecking it. But what Malcolm Gladwell, how he interprets the word disruptive, is about making a change, because change is disruptive. So don't look at this word as a negative thing. So back to this guy, Malcolm McLean. He's known as the father of containers, shipping containers. He started off really as a gas pump attendant, and then decided he'd go and help out his boss in this thing called transportation trucking. He kind of got into the shipping industry, where back in the day, about the 80s, people loaded cargo onto the ships by big boxes. There was no such thing as shipping containers back in the day. So he decided this was really unproductive and inefficient. It was losing me money. So he decided he invented the shipping container. Then obviously no one could lift the thing. So he brought cranes that could lift it up. He built railway lines to connect the trucks to the ships so that the cranes could lift up the containers between the two, the truck and the ship. And all the workers back in the day, when the guys who used to carry boxes one by one into the ships, they saw what was happening. They knew they were going to lose their jobs, and they went on strike. And this guy, he thought, well, don't worry, I'll just get bigger containers. And everyone thought he was crazy. So bigger containers needed bigger cranes, and at that day, no one really thought that a crane could lift up that much. He went to a crane company, said, I need a crane, can you make one for me? Can it lift 35,000 pounds? And they said, no way, that's impossible, you're crazy, go away. But here's the thing about frame of mind, he didn't give up. He had an idea and he knew that he could make it work. So he flew across the country and thought, there are lumber companies out there who lift heavy weights anyway, they must have a crane. So he went there and said, I need a crane, it needs to lift 35,000 pounds. Can I get it in 90 days? And they said, sure. Actually, you can have one this afternoon. So, moral of the story, don't give up. It really wasn't about how smart he was or how much money he had. It It really was about the idea he had and how he stuck to it, no matter what other people said. So I was kind of given the brief to relate this talk about leadership to what I kind of do, and as the very nice introduction by Ellen, I've made a few changes in my life. So here's where I've worked. Advertising, some HR, human resources were really boring. That one, policy and strategic advisors, economic research. Economic and political research. And that one right there is really different. It's a restaurant. That's in the order of things, actually. So advertising, what was it? Commodities, economics, politics, restaurant. So the whole point about it is that, yes, I've made a few changes. I didn't graduate from high school and university knowing exactly what I was going to do. Actually, when I was 15, all the way up to 20, I had 3 career choices: lawyer, banker, or CEO. That was all I thought I had to do. And the thing is that that's not it. There are so many things that you can do out there. I've met so many people that are making changes, just publishing, charity, marine conservation, music, art, and they're all really happy people, and I'll come to that later. Here's where I work now. It's public relations or communications, and I'm really enjoying it. I made a huge change that actually disrupted my mother from economics. I studied economics in London to let's just go. I went to this place, 1,000 Tales. It's a restaurant group. I did marketing for them, but at the same time I was also sweeping the floors and serving food. So that was a really big change. It didn't go down very well, and well, thing is that I'm really glad I made that change, and actually I learned a lot, which I'm going to share with you now. So I mentioned earlier that it's all about your frame of mind and your attitude, but at the same time, don't stick to a job that you hate. Just because you're thinking, if I just keep doing it, it won't be so bad. It could get worse. At the same time, don't disregard a job because you're being closed-minded. So I met a guy from a few days ago, actually. He's been CEO of many big organizations, and he worked with the government. He has changed the entire industry, and he has built up a national organization, transformed it in such an innovative way that it's being studied in top business schools all around the world, including Harvard. And what he said to me the other day, I really wish I heard a few years ago. So I'm going to tell it to you now. At the end of the day, you must have fun in what you do. But if it's not fun, and you can't find any fun in it, then make it fun. So, have lots of fun. But, I wish I had fun in a couple of places. I wish I could have made it fun. I wish I knew that it wasn't about the company, that it wasn't about my boss that was supposed to make me feel that I enjoyed my job. It's all about you. Obviously, if you don't like science, don't do science, for example. But, if jobs are just going to be bad once in a while. But at the end of the day, you could be stressed out of your head. You could be, you just want to drink or want to kill someone. But, after an hour, take your time, breathe, center yourself, and you'll realize that actually, look at the bigger picture. It's much better than doing something you don't like. So the next advice that I have, or what I've noticed or learned from other people, is don't be afraid. It's much easier said than done. And I'm still really afraid. the worst thing to do is to make decisions based on what you think other people will think of you. When you do something that makes you happy, you'll be happy. And when you're happy, you will look much younger. He's 41. So a few people I've met, they may not be, huge on the cover of Time, but I'll just share with you some people I know. There's one of my friends, she used to work a corporate job. She's not a corporate person at all. When I first met her, I thought she was my age, about 24, 25. Turns out she's 31. She has colorful hair, she's always happy, always friendly, and everyone loves her. And I feel that because she made the change, she decided that I want to be artistic, not corporate. It's fine, it's her decision. She's living her life, having fun, singing, and playing her ukulele around the world, as well as helping out her boyfriend, who, again, same thing, was working a corporate publishing job, and now he actually started up his online publishing website called Publishizer. If you guys are aspiring authors, you should check it out, publishizer.com. So what he does is he realized that in the mainstream world of publishing, there's a lot of red tape you have to go through. You have to spend a lot of money just to get your book out there. So this is like a crowdfunding for books. So think about it. If you want to write a book or poetry. But they both look really young, younger than I thought they were. So here's the thing, be happy, you'll look young. Another guy I know, he has always been disruptive his whole life. Anything, probably caused a lot of trouble for his parents and his teachers, broke a lot of rules. But he always just did what he wanted to do and what made him happy, but always what he thought he was doing was right. Didn't do bad things, but he just thought that what he was doing was right and it made him happy. So now he's just, he runs his own business, and before that he studied law and decided, he did a few internships, he was going to be a lawyer for the rest of his life, and decided that that prospect did not go down well, it made him sad, depressed. So he left. He's now runs a cafe. He learned how to make coffee, and it's everyone I meet that sees him is like, that guy is 21. He's 29, and he looks really happy, friendly, and a smart guy. You don't have to act boring and square to look smart. So don't be afraid to do what makes you happy. And I'm going to add a disclaimer here, unless we're hurting people. But we're not talking about hurting egos. Go ahead and be better than everyone else if you want to do. So, but just don't physically hurt people. Which brings me to the next point. Always take pride, ownership, and leadership in whatever work you do. I'm going to take the food and beverage industry, for example. A lot of people look at this industry and go, unless you're the manager of a 5-star hotel, unless you're the Michelin star chef, or unless you're the owner of a restaurant chain, you should not go into the F&B business, because you're going to be a waiter, you're going to be washing dishes, you're going to be sweeping the floors, or you're going to be making drinks. But in all honesty, they always say it's a terrible job. You're going to be working late. You're going to be doing horrible things. In all honesty, whatever you do, whether you're a Michelin star chef or an owner of a restaurant chain or an investment banker, there's going to be times in your job that's going to be terrible. So just think about that when choosing a career. Although you shouldn't really care about what people think of you, they will judge you according to your confidence and your pride. So I have no respect for whether you are a banker or a CEO, if you have no pride in your company and you have no pride in your work. But I do respect people who sweep the floors and pick up the rubbish when they, selflessly keep doing their job with pride. And the worst thing that can happen when you go to a restaurant is get this grumpy waiter who doesn't want to be there and makes you not want to be there. So kind of, whether it's a part-time job as a waiter, full-time job as your whatever you want to do, whether your name card says that you're the lowest of the low. My name card says executive. The person below me is intern. So I'm pretty much the lowest of the low. But whenever you meet someone, be proud of what you're doing and who you are, and they will respect you for that. Even if you don't know what you want to do in 5, 10, 30 years, what you're doing now, do it well. Do it really well.